Hi, this is Wanda from Meadow Craft, and this is our Quilting Blocks channel. Now today we're going to show you how to make this beautiful block. It's a 12-inch block and it's made up of 4 smaller blocks. Now this one here, when it's laid out like this, is called Indian Meadow, but this block is so versatile, so I'm just going to show you some other variations that you can do with it. So if we just turn this around like this one goes around twice, comes back around here, and we end up with a little pinwheel in the middle. Now that's called Waves of the Sea. So that's one variation. Now we can also turn the blocks so that the dark is all in the centre. And just imagine what you can do with this block. It's amazing. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that awesome? And here's another variation. This is one of my favourites. Okay, we're just going to bring those pieces there all to the centre so that we make a square. But you can have lots of fun playing with this block once you've made it. So I wanted to show you those. This is why I haven't actually sewn this block up. So there we go. Now isn't that just amazing? So let's get started and show you how to do it. So here's what you're going to need. Now remember, we've got 4 small blocks that make up the full 12-inch block. So we need this part here, we need a dark and a light, and those are 2 8-inch squares. So they're going to make the 4 of those that you need. And then we need 28 of these, so the smaller half square triangles. So what we have here are 4 of the yellow and 4 of the white. Now these squares here are 5 inches. And that's going to give us a total of 32 half square triangles, but we only need 28, so you are going to have some left over. So that's all right, you can use them when you make the next lot of blocks. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make our larger half square triangles. And so to do that, we're going to take our 2 8-inch pieces of material, place one on top of the other, just line them up nicely, and we're going to go and we're going to sew 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, so I've sewn around the outside edge, as you can see here. I've gone all the way around. So now I'm just going to cut this into my half square triangles. So I place my ruler point to point diagonally across the square. And cut. Turn it around and do the same on the other side. So point to point, and there we have our 4 half square triangles. There we go. So now that we have our half square triangles cut, what we're going to do is press them. So I want the seam to be pressed to the dark side, so I put the dark side facing me and I press it just to set the seam. And once I've done that, I open the half square triangle, and that seam will want to sit naturally towards the dark side. Just give it a little bit of a pull. And give it a press. Okay, so we're going to do that with all 4 squares. Okay, so now I have my half square triangles all nicely pressed. Now it's time to trim them. So what we need to do is get our ruler. Now you can use a square ruler, a small square ruler. You can use your long ruler if you have one. As long as it has a 45-degree angle marked on it, you can use any ruler that will fit your block. So I'm going to use my alpha square ruler here, and what you need to do is place the 45-degree angle along the seam line. Now we need to leave a little bit of leeway, so we need some material left around so that it's bigger than the 5 inches. So I've got a little bit here, I can bring that over. Right, okay, and I'm going to trim down this side first. Excuse me, I should have had that ready. Okay, so down one side and across the top. Now I'm just going to turn the block right around. Now this time I'm going to place the 45-degree angle again on the seam line, but I'm going to line this up with the 5-inch mark. Okay, so I have my 5-inch line across here and my 5-inch line across there. And then I'm just going to trim the excess off. Okay. out. We do have a tutorial on squaring up half square triangles, and the link will be in the description below. So I'm going to do that with all 4 triangles. Alright then, so now we've finished our large half square triangles. They're all pressed and trimmed. So we can just put those aside for now. Now let's get started on our small half square triangles. So we take one piece of the yellow and one piece of the white. Now we're going to turn the piece over and we're going to draw a line, just grab my glasses, diagonal point to point, so just on one piece. Okay, and we're going to do the same from this diagonal. Okay, point to point, just draw it down. Now, what we do is we take this piece, make sure that it's face down and right sides together. Here we go, place it on top of the white. And we're going to sew 1/4 inch down either side of that line and 1/4 inch down either side of this line. Okay, so I've sewn my lines 1/4 inch from each side of the line that we drew. So now I'm going to cut this into 8. Now I know that my square is 5 inches, so I take my ruler and I place the 2.5 inch mark on the side so that I know that I'm in the centre, and just line up across the bottom so the ruler's all right. And here we go. We're going to cut down that one, rotate, and do the same thing again, measuring 2.5 inches from the side and just lining it all up. And we cut in the centre. And now I'm going to cut on those diagonal lines that we drew before. Right. I do like this little rotating mat, it's lovely. Makes it so much easier for doing these blocks. Right, so there we go. So now we've got 8 of our half square triangles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press them the same as we did the last lot. Okay, so we'll press the seam to the dark side, and then we're going to trim these up into 2-inch squares. And we're going to do this with all of these other squares as well. So we'll end up with our 32 squares, of which we're only going to use 28. So now it's time to assemble our block, and what we're going to do is take the large block and we're going to lay all our pieces around, so you can see here that's what they look like. Now I'm going to sew these 3 together, so take one and put it over top of there, sew it together with a 1/4 inch seam, bring it back and add that piece, and I'll do the same with these ones here. Okay, so 2 together, sew them together. So I'll go and do that now. Okay, so I've pressed all my little squares, and as you can see, press them all to the dark side. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, actually I'm going to put it the right way around to start with. I'm going to sew these onto here with a 1/4 inch seam. Then I'll come back, open that out, and I'll sew the 4 squares along here with a 1/4 inch seam. So I'll go and do that now. So there you have it. This is our finished block. And you can see here how we've ironed them. We've pressed the long side to the outside, and we've pressed the side upwards, just so it sits nice and flat and neat. So there you go. So now you can have all the fun in the world playing with your blocks and suiting the variation that suits you. Now, thank you for watching our video, and if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.